don't need our oceans. Well, actually we do, but a conservation campaign rather by the Wild Trust using that tagline is gaining momentum. It uses the campaign to show what life would be like without the oceans, and they need your voice to push government to ramp up efforts to protect marine life. Now, to discuss this more, we're joined by the campaign's director, Lauren van Nijkerk. A very good afternoon to you, Lauren, and thank you so much for your time. So why what I assume is shock value by saying we don't need our oceans, because obviously that'll catch the attention of the public as to what are these people trying to say. So why that tagline?
Absolutely. Well, first off, thank you so much for having me. So obviously when we launched We Don't Need Our Oceans, everybody thought we had lost our minds as a mental NGO. But obviously we wanted people to pay attention and understand the urgency around our oceans and actually go, we really do, because at the end of the day, we wanted people to realize, and actually successfully, we managed to reach over 18 million people within the first few weeks of launching the campaign. But we wanted people to really, first of all, understand the urgency of protecting our oceans, and second of all, also to realize how much we depend on them. You know, we don't act like we need our oceans. We don't realize how much they give us. You know, they give us food, they give us jobs, they support ecotourism, they give us oxygen. I mean, every second breath we take comes from the ocean. So part of the campaign's goal is really just to help people understand just how much we depend on them and how they really need our help and they need us to protect them.
Could it be said that it only takes incidents as drastic or as dire and as incredibly severe as the BP oil spill for the world, the public, to, you know, raise an eyebrow and say, oh, wow, this is, you know, the situation is quite severe?
Absolutely. I mean, as a human race, we're inherently selfish beings, you know, we just kind of at the end of the day, you know, how does it affect me? So that's part of what the campaign hoped to put a spotlight on, you know, unless it's right on my doorstep, I can't actually go to the shop and buy fish or seafood. Until I can't actually go and swim in the ocean because it's filthy and full of garbage, and you know there's oil slick all over the sand. You know, so until that reality is right on your doorstep, you know, the everyday person doesn't really take notice of the fact that the ocean's in trouble. So that's why we're hoping with this campaign we can just put forward a little something that everybody can do in the chaos that we find ourselves in amidst COVID-19 and getting pulled in all kinds of directions. Something really simple and something really easy that you can do to make a difference.
South Africans in their nature, not all of them, but some of them have always had this attitude that, you know, natural disasters are some things that seldom happen in this country. So when something doesn't happen that often in this country, you know, South Africans just try and like essentially get blocked out. And, you know, dangers to marine life in most parts of, or rather surrounding parts of South Africa, it's not really something that happens as drastically as you would get, again, with the BP oil spill in other parts of the world. So, you know, how severe is the situation in our surrounding parts?
Well, I mean, it's the same everywhere. I mean, overfishing, habitat destruction, resource extraction, oil and gas, climate change, pollution, it's all happening. But I think that at the end of the day, we need to realize that there's hope and we can help. And it's not too late. You know, unfortunately, science tells us we're facing biodiversity collapse, starting as early as 2030. That's less than 10 years from now. That's not 100 years from now. You know, that's 10 years from now. That's really trying to think through the reality that 10 years from now, your children might not be able to see sharks or to see dolphins or to see whales or to see manta rays. So it really is quite dire, but without depressing us all, we have the ability to do something, and we do already have as a country. We have 5% of our oceans are protected within marine protected areas, which are basically these really great thriving little spots all over our ocean, with all kinds of marine life and different ecosystems. And that's something South Africa's really done right. So we have a representative area of marine protected areas. Globally, some other countries kind of much like taking a piece of desert and saying, we're going to put this area in conservation. Some countries have kind of taken big pieces of ocean, but they aren't necessarily representative of all our ecosystems and all our marine life. But South Africa's really done that right. So our initial 5% is really, really great and really strong, but there's just too much science telling us that we need to protect more. I mean, globally, we have a goal of trying to get to 30% as the global ocean needs to try and protect 30%. And if South Africa can contribute 10% towards that global goal, it will really go a long way to help protecting our oceans with that massive goal in mind, which will help our oceans survive.
Yeah. Well, South Africans and the world, we do actually need our oceans. Lauren, thank you so much for your time this afternoon.